Welcome and hello and welcome, dear friends. This is going to be our last chapter of the book, The Problems of Philosophy. As I mentioned earlier to you, this lecture is going to be completely in English so that you, the viewers, the listeners, the watchers, know how I perform in Hindi and how I perform in English. My whole training, as I said, has been in English medium. So though I'm more comfortable in English medium, I try to be bilingual so that I can reach more audiences, so that I can reach more of you. I can receive feedback and other valuable comments from more and more of you. Coming down to the chapter is titled "The Value of Philosophy." Now, Russell defends philosophy against the perception that it is merely an exercise in trivial distinctions and impractical speculation. Russell says that philosophy is not limited to trivial distinctions and impractical speculations or operating definitions or the larger definitions, the confusion that exists between different usage of the terms. Philosophy is not just limited to that. Philosophy is not secluded to that. The practical man dismisses philosophy as irrelevant. The common man might dismiss philosophy as irrelevant, but this is due to his flawed understanding of life's true purpose. The common man does not know what the life's true purpose is. And he does not know about the nature of intellectual goods. His focus is just on the material goods. Now, he says that while science, particularly in his age, when science, the two big theories of science came in a span of around 20, 30 years, that is the theory of relativity and the theory of quantum physics or the theory of quantum mechanics. They both came in, and this hugely changed the face of the last century. So he says that while science contributes tangible inventions that benefit society, philosophy primarily enriches the intellectual lives of the practitioners. And it influences others who don't do philosophy indirectly, because every time you meet a philosopher, you get a new perspective. Now, philosophy's greatest impact is on its disciples because it fosters critical thinking, intellectual curiosity, and gives you that open minded approach to fundamental questions. A practical man prioritizes physical sustenance, but the philosophical mindset acknowledges the necessity of intellectual nourishment for a well rounded life. He says that philosophy is a pursuit of knowledge, and its goal is to attain knowledge through critical inquiry, providing coherence and structure to various sentences or sciences. It can change how you view propositions, how you frame propositions about reality, how those propositions frame a perspective of reality as a domain of science. Now, unlike history and mathematics or physical sciences, philosophy does not retain a concrete body of definitive knowledge. He says that though philosophy does not retain a concrete body of definitive knowledge, that does not mean you wholeheartedly remove away the endeavor of philosophy. Defending philosophy, he says that as fields acquire concrete knowledge, they separate from philosophy and they form sciences such as astronomy, physics, and psychology. What was once philosophy of mind turned into psychology. What was once metaphysics that turned into physics. What was once cosmology and cosmogony. Those questions were translated into astronomy. Now, in this sense, the philosophy may seem uncertain, but this is because it engages with unresolved questions until they develop into distinct scientific fields. Russell says that unlike other disciplines, philosophy grapples with questions that inherently resist definitive answers, and he points out some fundamental concerns which philosophy engages in, or some fundamental human concerns in which philosophy engages. One question can be: does the universe have a purpose, or is it purely random? Is consciousness fundamental or a fleeting accident of nature? And do good and evil hold cosmic significance or only human relevance? Now, this shows Especially the philosophy of his age had this fallacy that it lacked demonstrable truth. Even now, it is highly doubted that does philosophy provide this demonstrable truth. So Russell says that philosophy answers are rarely provable in the way scientific conclusions are, adding to the discipline's perceived uncertainty. However, the value of philosophical inquiry lies in the goal, which is not just to provide answers, but to cultivate awareness, to cultivate different points of view towards these profound questions, which maintains a speculative interest in the universe. Now, some philosophers propose definitive conclusions on religion, knowledge, and other existential topics, but Russell warns us against such rigid assertions and says which are consistent with his broader views. He says that philosophy should not seek absolute certainty but embrace intellectual humility, the possibility that you might not have the true answer or the answer as is provided by religion. Science opens keeps open those possibility that there might be an understanding to which we are not part of, to which we do not know. Now, Russell finally argues that philosophy's values lies in its very uncertainty as it changes ingrained assumptions and opens the mind to new perspectives. Without philosophical inquiry, individual belief remain confined by societal norms, habitual beliefs, and unexamined convictions. Philosophy encourages speculation about possibilities, allowing an even ordinary experience to be seen in a fresh light. By questioning certainty, philosophy frees us from the tyranny of custom and rigid thinking. Philosophy reduces the false confidence in the true nature of the world. Though you do not know the fact, but you are certain that you know the fact. It reduces that false confidence and enhances intellectual humility, imagination, and a renewed sense of awe towards the world, which is only seen in the likes of a child. Now, philosophy derives value from contemplating ideas beyond personal concerns, broadening our intellectual and emotional horizons. To live freely and greatly, one must transcend the limitations of self centered thought and engage with larger universe. Personal biases and self interest warp our understanding, preventing a true union between the intellect and reality. Now, Russell, by encouraging contemplation of vast and abstract idea, says that philosophy frees the mind from narrow perspectives. Philosophy's worth lies not in providing absolute truths, but in fostering curiosity and intellectual expansion. Engaging with profound questions, philosophical questions, those kind of endeavors elevate and enlarges human thought, rendering the mind as vast as the universe it seeks to accept, to understand. And finally, Russell cautions that philosophical contemplation must not begin with rigid assumptions about its objects or the nature of knowledge itself. We should approach philosophy not with predetermined expectations, for they hinder genuine inquiry and obstruct intellectual progress. True philosophical understanding arises from engaging with external world rather than imposing external internal biases onto it. By contemplating the vastness of the universe, the mind itself expands, partaking in something greater than the personal limitations. You do not need to be a man of a great height to question the height of the whole universe. Now, Russell finally says that genuine knowledge is not about reshaping reality to fit our perspectives, but about harmonizing personal understanding with the infinite complexity of the universe. That's the hallmark of philosophy. Giving you an eye, opening your eye, giving you an eye to be awed by the fundamental intricacies of nature. So, with this, we conclude Russell's problem of philosophy. Now we've seen the whole discussion on philosophy, on fundamental questions. So, with this, I shall end our critical study series, Parichaya series, where we discussed this topic, this whole book, The Problems of Philosophy by Bertrand Russell. Now, I would like for you to share in comments which philosopher would you like me to discuss next, or which book would you like me to discuss next. Next. Till then, goodbye. Have a good health. Namaste.